when he started putting like the final things on his head, and Leon was like not having it, so he started trying to grab it all off, and the guy was trying to work with him, and I ended up swaddling Leon like a baby.
We are starting our video off late tonight. It is about 7:30. Yeah, it's late, huh? And Leon has a sleep study to go to. So you're going to go spend the night with Daddy at the hospital, okay? So sometimes Leon snores at night. And he's been doing this weird thing where he pauses between his snores, and it is a little bit of a longer pause than what I am comfortable with. So his ENT suggested a sleep study, so that's where he is going tonight, is to go get his sleep study. Hopefully everything's fine and I'm just a crazy mom, you know, that would be the best outcome. But he's always, you know, since birth had issues with his airway and stuff, so we're definitely concerned about it. But we are getting it all checked out, buddy. Yeah, you're gonna go get checked out. Make sure that you're okay. Yeah, you and Daddy are gonna go hang out, okay? Well, you're gonna sleep, hopefully. Are you giving Theo a hug bye? Say bye, brother. I love you. You ready to go? Come on. You gotta go bye-bye with Daddy. Bye, sweetheart. I love you. Be a good boy and go to sleep. Yeah. Be careful.
Alright guys, so we just got here. It's kind of dark in this parking garage. I don't really know why, but Leon's in his pajamas. And we gotta go inside and see if we can figure this out. Oh, here it is. It's later this way. Okay. They're gonna help you. And there he is, sleeping. Before they even hooked him up to anything.
I think it's best to put a sapper on his toe.
Yeah.
So the stuff that goes on his face, Dad, do you want me to wait until he goes to sleep? Okay, done.
Put the nose candy on
Yep.
and stuff? Yeah, I would wait.
Okay, I'll wait. If we get started at 9, if he sleeps till 4, that's 7 hours of sleep study. That's usually what we ask for, ultimately, anyways.
Now, if he does wake up and have a hard time, do you want me to give him his melatonin?
If he wakes up at like 3 or something, whatever you guys would normally do.
Okay.
Just let me know so I can chart it and study.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Alright guys, we are leaving. It's so early that it's still nighttime outside. So that's pretty cool. And we're gonna go home. Guys, look at how goopy Leon is. Like, he's got goop everywhere. Oh my gosh. Let's go home, buddy. Well, I am awake. We just got back from Leon's procedure. I'll just go over it with you a little bit. So we arrived at the hospital, and I thought I had recorded it on the GoPro, but it seems like I have lost that footage. I'm very sorry. I apologize for that. But we parked at the first level at the last handicapped parking space. I guess all the rest of them were taken already. And I was able to get Leon out, you know, and put everything in his bag because I brought my own bag. And as we were walking to the front, we had to do our testing where they asked us if we were sick, if we knew anybody that was a victim of the pandemic or anything like that. And of course we said no. And I've never been there at night before, so it was like very odd to see like only one security guard, only one person at reception. There was 0 people in admitting, so they were pretty much like, you can go sit on the couch. It was like this little 3-seat green couch. and then somebody will come down and get you. And Leon's sleeping in the background. He's snoring a little bit. So this guy came down, and met us, and he introduced himself. And he was actually the person that was going to look after Leon for the entire night. So from the time we got there by the time we got upstairs, it was about 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning. He was our personal technician, just for Leon. So we went onto the 3rd floor on section A, because that's where they do the sleep studies in the Moores Hospital. And we got one of the very first rooms. So then he started explaining to me about the room, and this is why I didn't get as much footage as I wanted to. The moment anyone is in the room, there is 3 cameras. The first camera is an infrared camera, and it comes on and detects any heat of anybody in the room. So when you trigger that camera, then the second camera comes on, and it's a big oval camera, and it looks straight down on the top of the middle of the bed, and it sees 3 feet from each side of the bed. So it was very hard to film in there. And the third camera was a camera that they said it was like more of a night vision camera, where they could zoom in on Leon's neck and stuff to see how he's breathing. So we started out, and I had to fill out a questionnaire, and it asked me pretty much everything that can happen to a person that has anything to do with sleep. Like, do they have a lot of stress? What noises do they make? Do they have sleepwalking? Have they ever been diagnosed with anything before? Do they have any type of disabilities or learning disabilities that could contribute to them having a hard time sleeping? What type of food do they eat? So after I did the questionnaire, it took about 20 minutes. His technician came back in, and Leon was already asleep. He was like face down asleep. I'm pretty sure we have a clip of it. And then they started hooking up diodes, and I'll show you like a picture of like the little diode thing, or Jody will, she'll put it in here, where you can see just how many cords that they had to attach to Leon. And remember, every single one of these dots had a line on it that touched Leon. So he probably had like 5 on each side of his head. He had them like here, so they could measure, his different brain waves and his synaptic responses, which is like electric currents that go through your brain and measure, which part of your brain is receiving information or giving instructions while you're sleeping. And then they had one around his neck, and he had a nasal cannula, and then they had a mic on his chin that monitored his breathing, and then they had a sensor on his head that checked his heartbeat and stuff like that. And once they had him hooked up to that, then he was supposed to sleep through the night. So at the last 5 minutes of Leon's technician hooking everything up to him, he was not having it. He was done. And what was crazy is he was 100% calm for all of the stuff that I wouldn't be okay with, like the putting the stuff around my neck, the putting stuff in my nose, the putting stuff on my feet, on my belly, on my chest to measure my heart and stuff. And I wouldn't have been okay with stuff around my neck, but Leon was. It was when he started putting the final things on his head, and Leon was not having it. So he started trying to grab it all off, and the guy was trying to work with him, and I ended up swaddling Leon like a baby so he couldn't grab the stuff off his head. And he went to sleep, and we turned off all the lights, and it was almost pitch black. You couldn't see anything in there. And about 20 minutes after Leon went to sleep, he went to rock, and he felt something because it stopped him, and he just took his hand and grabbed every single one of the cords off of his head. So he had to throw it all away and start all the way over again, and it took 30 minutes each time to do this. The technician was very nice, and Leon just was giving him a hard time But when he finally got it back on to Leon, I kind of just stood over the bed for like the first 45 minutes, just making sure like if Leon woke up, he didn't grab everything off of him. And Leon probably slept 20 minutes and then he woke up for 20 minutes, and he slept 20 minutes and he woke up for 20 minutes. And this went on till about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then at about 1 o'clock in the morning he went to sleep, and he stayed asleep till about 2 o'clock. And then from 2 to 2:40 he just rocked back and forth heavily. He does that to kind of like soothe himself. I got him calmed down. I rubbed his back until he stopped, and he was just laying still and went back to sleep. It's 2:30. Leon's back to sleep. He sleeps until about 3:30, and then he starts rocking again. And the guy has to come back in there and readjust the stuff on his feet and things. And I asked him, is this normal? Are you going to get the information that you need? And he said probably not, because they want sleep studies to be at least 5 hours long. And Leon probably gave him total about 3 hours and 15 minutes. So he might have to redo it. But at 5 a.m. he came back in and he said, "You guys are done, you can leave." Which was great for me and Leon. And I got Leon in his chair, and he was so ready to come home. And when we got home, Leon went straight to bed. And I was like, "Oh, buddy, if you could have just done that at the doctor's office." But that's what happened in our day. And I'm sorry that I couldn't film as much as I wanted to. But at least you guys get to know. Alright everyone, I'm going to bed. So let's do the birthday shout outs. Happy birthday to Sophie's mom, and happy birthday to Kaylee. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Whenever that is. Bye.